Hello, everyone. It's Friday. It's Belinda Weaver here, and I am really excited because I'm going to be talking to three very cool Confident Copywriting members. Today, Monday and Tuesday, I'm interviewing a bunch of members to answer your questions, but also pick their brain about not just what they like about the group, but resources they've found really useful, the vibe of the community, and a couple of other things like that. Because my private coaching group, Confident Copywriting, opens on May the 6th. And if you're looking at it, I want you to hear different voices than my own, to hear some real experience. So these Confident Copywriting members have been very kind and are doing this at 7:30 p.m. in England. And the reason is not because I'm a complete and utter jerk. It's just that I clearly can't manage time zones. So when we scheduled this, I didn't think ahead that it would be the evening time, but also all three members have young children and are running their copywriting businesses around their families, alongside their personal lives. And I know this from experience, that chatting when everyone's asleep is a lot less stressful. So first of all, I'm going to bring on Helen. So I've got Helen, Kerry, and B, and I'm going to introduce each of them to you. So I'm going to bring you on first, Helen, all this amazing technology. Hello. Thanks for joining me tonight.
It's lovely to be here. I wish my little boy was in bed, but not quite.
Oh, getting there close. Okay, cool. Well,
Getting there.
okay. I wish you a speedy and uneventful bedtime then.
Thank you.
So let's introduce yourself firstly, who you are, who you serve, and how long you'd been a copywriter before you joined Confident Copywriting.
I'm Helen. I'm a copywriter for Helen Writes, which is a business which has been going for, oh my goodness, since about 2016. And I would say I was copywriting for about 2.5 years before I joined your group.
Awesome. Cool. And what were you looking for when you joined Confident Copywriting? Like, what was the challenge, or what were you specifically on the lookout for?
Well, like a lot of people, I left the corporate world to start my copywriting business. And it was when my little boy was a baby. So we left the city and we did that whole let's move into the country thing. And I decided to follow my passion, which was writing. I love helping small businesses. So that was how it started. And it was very much a part-time endeavor at the beginning, obviously. Looking after my little boy was my priority. And it just kind of grew organically, and it was quite magical, actually. And I lived in this lovely community where I was really lucky that I had a lot of business from word of mouth. It was like once they knew that somebody wrote, I wrote for everyone. It was that kind of place. It was just beautiful. Yeah, like regional Australia can be like that. It was lovely. I lived in Australia at the time. So I've probably said that. So fast forward a couple of years and we emigrated back to the UK. My little boy started school and it was like crunch time. So I was at a bit of a crossroads, and what I really needed to do was shift gear with the business. Is this going to be a thing, or am I going to move back to the corporate world? So I needed some help because I'd never run a business before, and I'd been very lucky that I'd run it quite passively, where work came to me and I needed to shift it so that I was in control.
Yes.
And that's where I needed help, because I didn't know how to write a proposal. It didn't take me 6 days. And like Googling how much does everyone charge to write a website. And that's where I was. I needed help from somebody who understood copywriting.
Perfect. Oh, I'm so glad. And you've been a member for how long now?
I think it's nearly 2 years. Yeah.
Still the OGs.
I know, I love it. I feel like I should have some kind of like, I don't know, veterans badge.
Yes, putting that down on the merch list.
Yeah.
So what's a win that you've had since joining the group? And this could be like, I earned my highest month, or a way you feel, or something like that you've had since you've joined the group.
Well, then there's just been so many. Like from the minute I joined, it was like a weight was lifted. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. I'd been kind of winging it. I don't like to use the word winging it because I feel like it's disrespectful to my clients who had been working with me, but it was very much like everything was done from scratch. Every email was from scratch. every document, and I really needed help streamlining stuff. So I think my big win was when I had a client, after I joined you, the first time a client came to me and I felt really in control. They were like, can you help me with the website? I said, yes. Would you like to set up a discovery call? Because after that, what I can do is write a proposal for you, and then we can do a briefing. And I just had this whole procedure in place, and it was so calming. And not just for me, but for the client. It's like adding value for them, because a lot of people haven't worked with copywriters before.
Yes.
They just know the process. So for me to be able to know my own processes and relay that to a client, that was my goal.
Oh, I love that so much, because you're right. It's really stressful for clients who are like, I don't know how this works. I know I need it, but I don't know how it works. And as soon as you can lay down the path, it's a lot less stressful for everyone. And of course, your brain is suddenly freed up to have ideas and write great copy and things like that.
And you have templates. And so I didn't even have to write anything from scratch. It was there. I could tailor it for my business, but
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That is a huge win. And I love that you have that. I love that you have that. All right. So I'm going to bring you back on, but I'm going to bring Kerry on to have a quick chat with her. And I've got some questions for you at the end. So thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if I can make this work. I'm going to add Carrie. I'm going to get rid of Helen. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. So can you introduce yourself, please? Tell us, everyone, who you work for, what you do.
So it's actually catching me on a good day. It's just launched the new rebrand and everything. So yes, my name is Kerry, and I'm an SEO copywriter for course and membership creators. My brand is called God Save the SERP, and that website has gone live today.
Today, and it's amazing. It is amazing. You should be very proud of that. And how long were you a copywriter before you joined Confident Copywriting?
Exactly 0 time. I had done like copywriting training before joining, but then it was just like, okay, now what do I do with this knowledge? Like okay, right. Okay, I can start writing copy, but like, how do I get clients? Where do I find people? I was just like, no, I'm not spending forever trying to work this out. I'm just gonna go find someone who can help me do this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a shortcut, isn't it? You don't have to spend years figuring it out.
Exactly.
And so what would you say, what's your win? I mean, you probably, like Helen, you've had multiple, but what's a win that stands out since you've been a member?
I mean, it's strange because it's kind of like I never kind of had that period of, chronic undercharging or anything like that. I just kind of hit the ground running. So it was almost just like from the second I joined, it was just like that those wins were already like in place.
Yes.
And I didn't realize like how common it was to work for like an absolute pittance until like I'd started speaking with other copywriters, and I was like, oh God, thank God I never had to like charge that just from literally not knowing what to charge or like what was the standard. So I just got to, I think, just avoiding that horrible first hump that so many copywriters have to go through, like just bypassing that completely, was definitely the biggest win. And also what I always say is like, I went for the resources, I went for the templates, I went for that stuff, but I think what I wasn't really expecting was that like I stay 100% like for the community, and just being able to have that. Like, I mean, I'm a part of quite a few Facebook groups and communities and stuff, and like none of them where I can say like, oh yes, well, how's Lorraine doing, or like actually talk about people by name and be on like Zoom calls with people from the group. Like that's never happened with any of them,
Oh, that makes me so happy. I know quite a few people have found their business besties in the group. And so part of me is like, well, I want to be on those calls too, but I love the connections. And I just love the fact that you went from I'm starting this to I'm earning decent money without that hump of I'm going to work for crap, because, working with the wrong clients, undercharging, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people feel like they have to earn their stripes doing that. Like it's just part of the process. And I love the fact that you've proven that it hasn't, but it also feeds in to that imposter voice and it makes it harder to jump up. So I love that you just went, no, I'm just going to jump straight over that bit. Thanks. And just go to have a successful business. And you have gone gangbusters since then. And the new website is amazing. So, all right, cool. So I'm going to kick you off for a second and bring B on, and I'll bring you back at the end. We'll ask some more questions. Thank you. All right. Can I do this? Look at this. Awesome. Hello, B. How you doing?
I'm not on mute.
No. And so are your bubs in bed?
They are, in
your house?
Husband bedtime.
Oh, yes. And then the good news is after this, you're like, everyone's asleep. I've done my little bit of business. Now I get to celebrate. So before we get ahead of ourselves, can you introduce yourself to everyone, who you write for, what kind of services you do, and how long you were a copywriter before you joined Confident Copywriting?
So my name's B Long. I write for all sorts of people, but I'm focusing on writing email, blogs, and web copy for kind of health and wellness, personal development brands. And my background is in working for book publishers. So before I joined Confident Copywriting, I only joined last, was it February, I think?
Yes.
This recent February.
Yes, you're very new. I love it.
I'd been writing copy for 10 years in my work. I'd been freelance for 5 years doing copywriting jobs all the time. I hadn't been calling myself a copywriter confidently.
All that time.
No.
And so what were you looking for when you joined the group? What were you on the hunt for? What problems are you trying to solve?
I felt really lost. I decided in September, October that I was going to focus on copywriting and try to make that kind of most of my income. And it was. And I was trying to establish myself as a business and market myself. And I'd kind of absorbed loads of courses, and, I was on Instagram a lot, absorbing a lot of business advice, and it wasn't helping. There was too much, and not enough of it was kind of copywriting specific. So I felt like I need a coach. I can't afford like regular, one-on-one business coaching. And also I want a copywriting specific coach. I want someone who's been doing that for a while. And I had a really lucky Google and the doors were open because it's literally what I typed in, copywriting coach.
Awesome.
So basically, I was scared to call myself a copywriter. I said I did all sorts of different marketing things, even though I knew what I wanted to focus on. So I was looking for someone to help me make that step.
I love it. And I love that you're stepping more and more into that role. Do you have a win that you can think of? I know it's only been February, but as I said, it could be a revenue win. It could just be a confidence win. What pops into mind?
I have tons of wins. I could talk for ages. A really obvious one is that in January, I was recommended to a client who was exactly the type of client I want to work with. She's a nutrition and empowerment coach. Ooh.
Recess.
She and I had a chat. It went completely terribly. Ballsed it up. Didn't go anywhere. This was in January before joining the group.
Right.
I joined the group, and I think in March we had a focus on finding new clients. And one of the things we all pledged to do was to contact an old lead. And I contacted her, and I had all the resources, and I had the discovery call template, and I had the proposal template, and boom, boom, boom. She's now a regular client. I love her. She loves me. So.
That's awesome. And which goes to show, I know it's never quite final. So I love that you went back, because that takes a lot of courage to go back after you feel like you've kind of balls the situation up. And I love that she's a regular client. So I bet like having those templates, it sounds like they just gave you more confidence to go, I got this.
It was, exactly as Helen described. It was that, like, it made me feel calm. It made her feel calm. There was a process. And that's, it's not like I was pretending. It's not like I was not doing something I would have done. I would have worked very hard before, but it's just having the steps and like knowing what to say on a phone call, Yeah.
It's just a lot easier, right? Like you're still doing the work, but you don't have a lot of the head junk that comes up. You feel confident, you feel calmer, and that just makes it easier and faster. I love that. Awesome. All right. Well, let's bring the other ladies on. Let's do this. Look at this. This is so. And then we're Brady Bunch style going on. So thank you. I love that. So many wins. So one thing I would like to ask you all is, do you have like one resource that you could share to go, this was good, this changed everything, or I loved using it, or something like that? B, you go first.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you say me?
Yeah. We should have worked this out before. B, you go first.
I mean, again, loads. I the resources are all fantastic, and I think in the first week I watched like 20 videos and read everything because I was like, this is just blowing my mind. But the resources on setting your rates really helped me. I didn't have any logic behind my rate setting. I wasn't massively undercharging like Kerry described. Some people do, but I could have been in some situations. I wasn't kind of. There just was no logic to it, and
no process.
Definitely made a difference. And it's also meant that I have to go, how many hours do I actually have to work on this project? And if I work more hours than that, am I earning enough money on this project? And that's made a huge difference to my time management as well as, what I'm earning.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like we talk about in the group a lot, it will take as long as you allow it to take. And you can't charge for 2 hours and take 5 hours. That's not how you run a business. Okay, I love that. Helen, what about you?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Bea. The rate card template was just life-changing because I realized there was actually a basis in putting together proposals and understanding that it's not just how long it takes to write, but there's the briefing, there's the research, and there's so many more elements that I think you forget about when you're kind of a new copywriter.
Mm-hmm.
So that was life-changing. I love your sales page template. I've used that like a billion times. Love that one. And I loved the recent emails that you released, the email bundle, which
yes.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've used that about 6 times this week already. And
nice.
I've had 2 new projects accepted this week. And I swear it's just because my emails just looked schnick. And somebody complimented me on my proposal, which is based on your proposal template.
Awesome.
So it's like this. It's really hard to pick one because everything is great. But I just want to say as well, the community in the group is a really big thing for me. I've said before, it's like my team. And,
yes.
People understand 9 to 5 working in an office, but not a lot of my friends and family understand freelancing. So it's really nice to find a group that gets it, has the same issues and problems that I do, has difficult clients, and can help talk me through it. And, this week alone, I've gone to the group 4 times asking for advice on stuff, and members have checked in and given me the most amazing advice.
What I love that you mentioned that, because it is my favorite thing is when I see a question asked and then all I have to add is like what everyone else said. Like there's so much good advice, not just from me, but from everyone. And I love that lots of people at different levels. So you get lots of different advice, which is what you need sometimes, that couple of steps ahead that you're like, man, I wouldn't have figured that out so fast. Awesome. I love that. Kerry, what about you? Standout resource for you?
Yeah, for me, one thing that I really loved was the workshop that Zoe did on profitable project management.
Yes.
I love that. I really love that. That was huge for me because I really like productivity and all that kind of stuff and being efficient. And I also just love the fact that it was from Zoe. Like it was a workshop, just for context for everyone else. It was a workshop that was done actually by one of the community members, because Zoe is like so has her shit together. Like she's like so good.
Right.
She just always like swoops in with like her amazing logic and numbers and just like,
yeah. Zoe's threads posts are like, oh, by the way, and I did a little bit of analysis and here's a complete breakdown with percentages. I'm like, damn, girl. That's how you do it. Yeah, and we walked through how she uses Asana to track her deadlines and how she uses calendar blocking to map out her week, so that if someone ever says, have you got time? She's like, boom, no, I don't, but I do.
Exactly. And that to me was just so useful, because I was also the kind of person who was like thinking, yeah, I've got time. Of course I do. And then whenever I started like implementing what Zoe talked about, I was like, oh, I do not have time, like. I would
right?
have a nervous breakdown if I took on that project right now.
Yeah, and this is exactly, I think, that kind of lack of bird's eye view of the projects you've got going on, what's coming up, what's about to wrap up, can lead you to overbook yourself. And then you're like, why do I have to work every evening? Why am I working every weekend? Why am I burning out? This is not what I signed up for at all.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Great resources, ladies. So what... and one thing I also want to add is something that you mentioned, B, is like we also have, because it's easy to think about the stuff, the things, the templates, all that kind of stuff. But we have these months where it's like, all right, this is client booking in month, or this is authority building month. And so how do you find, and we'll go round again, we'll go Kerry, Helen, B, how do you find those challenges to kind of get out of your comfort zone? Is that something you find uncomfortable, or does that work for you, Kerry?
Yeah, for me, I do really enjoy them. Yeah, just kind of like, it's nice to kind of have a focus for the month and to be like doing things with people. Now, I remember the last one I didn't do because I just did not have the headspace for it. But it's also nice that that's also okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes I feel like, especially in like anything like online business related or anything like that, there's just a lot of pressure to always be like performing and to always be like go, 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 go. But what I like really about the group and like your style of coaching as well is just like, that at the end of the day, you need to have a business that works for your life. If not, then why are you even doing it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I mean, like I love the challenges, and I also just love like the culture around them also. There's like not this insane pressure to like make sure you do them and get results. It's just a way to like encourage each other and to have like a focus. And that's what I really enjoy about them. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. And one of the things about the challenges is like that you were winning if you've taken a step. It's not necessarily about the results, but the win is just doing something slightly out of your system or comfort zone.
Exactly. For me, one I really love was the money management. There's like a month where there's like money stuff. I don't know what you titled it. The money
month.
Yeah. That was really good because as well, like I feel like financial literacy is just so important and so poorly understood by people. And it's like something we put in a corner. We don't want to touch it.
Yes,
100%. But you got so many great experts and stuff to talk about that, and it just really helped me kind of get my bum into gear as well and understand my numbers better.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, that whole money month, I was like, I need to sort this out myself. So I'm just going to bring a whole lot of people in and we're all going to figure this out together. What about you, Helen? How do you find those kind of themes and challenges in the month?
I couldn't have said it better than Kerry. What I love about this group is you can dip in and out, to an extent. So there's one's coming up, which is so relevant for me, and I've got them in my diary. And I can't wait to join in. Whereas last month I was so busy, I just didn't have time to engage with it fully. So you can kind of balance it to your lifestyle. And the whole ethos of the group is, you are busy, you've got children, you've got family, you've got other commitments. So you do what works for you. And what I love the most is that even though, the cold pitching month, for example, I didn't engage in that as much because I was so busy, but the resources are there and I know I can always go back to them. I just need to go to the website, log in, and everything is there for me. So it's kind of quite calming knowing that, like Kerry said, I don't have to be there. Like there's no one holding me accountable. Like, Helen, you didn't turn up. I can just come.
Oh, I'm thinking about it. Don't worry.
I very rarely do the live calls because it's quite, for me, in the UK, I go to bed early. So, but what's lovely, I can catch up the next day. That's fine. It's still there.
So, yeah, absolutely. And I'm just joking, I know, because I've got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old as well. So this idea of you need stuff that can help you when you need it, and not having the pressure of feeling like you're behind, or that, because we get into that kind of hustle culture and we're like, oh my God, if I'm not doing all these things, then what's the point of my life? And that's very much against what I want in the group. So I'm really glad you're saying that.
I do love the themes. I love knowing what's coming up, and I love knowing that I can get into it and kind of get my head around a topic.
Yes.
And everyone's on board with the same stuff and everyone's talking about it in the group, which I love.
Awesome. All right. What about you, B?
Well, yeah, I've only been in the group a couple of months, but I went hard on the pitching month. I needed but like the others, I felt zero pressure. It wasn't like, oh, you know, I gotta do this. I was just really up for it because I had maybe two clients. I needed to kind of diversify, and it was really helpful. I mean, all of that. You know, any of the themes we cover is stuff you would want to do kind of year round. Anyway, it's just really good to have a focus. It's really difficult to have a focus.
Yes. So, and it's just like that reason, like, oh, well, I did want to do this, but I always put it off to the side because it's maybe slightly out of my comfort zone. But now there's a thing happening. I'm going to give it a go. So I love that.
And it was totally out of my comfort zone to cold pitch anybody, but really just to approach anybody about work. And I just do it all the time. The first one I did was a totally outrageous cold pitch to someone who was never going to reply. And I see that better now. And I mean, you know, it's worth doing those, you know, obviously it's worth doing those kind of dream client pitches, but it was like so freeing. Yes. It really gave me a lot of kind of, I was just like, well, it's nothing, the world's not going to blow up. And I would never have done it without the group.
I'm sorry. That makes me so happy because often we think if I'm not going to nail it, then I'm not going to do it because, you know, there's no point. But there is that middle ground. Yeah, I know. So we've talked a little bit about the group and the vibe, but what would you say if you chose 3 words to describe your experience, to describe the community? Because I think I love the fact that there's different options for communities, copywriting communities, because when I started out, there was nothing, right? And so we just had to figure stuff out. And so I love now that you can choose different communities that are right for you, and that there's lots of stuff, there's lots of templates, and that's awesome. But it often comes down to the vibe, like whether or not you find me annoying as that's probably not going to be a great choice. But 3 words to describe the vibe of the group in your experience. Helen, I'll start with you.
Don't pick me. It's very practical. Like everything you tell me, I know that I can do. Like you're not going to just do woolly stuff. I know you talk about being a bit woo-woo, but you're never woo-woo. Everything is practical and pragmatic. And I love that. It's very actionable. Is that a word? I don't know. I'm a copywriter.
Yes, no, that's totally a word.
So I love that. It's very, I don't like to use the word calming because I feel like it's the wrong word, but it's just like there's no pressure. I feel like everyone is there to support me. I've seen other groups which maybe are a bit more kind of hard-edged and a bit more like everyone's trying to, you know, jostle for position and talk about their wins all the time. And I feel like it's a very honest group that we've got. People talk about things very openly, and they talk about some quite difficult subjects within the group quite openly, which has been very, very refreshing for me. And it's made me feel a lot more confident in what I'm doing, knowing that everyone's got the similar thoughts.
I feel like it does. We're all on the similar life vibe, which I like. Kerry, what about you?
Yeah. So practical is a good one, Helen. I like that because it is very practical. Like I feel like everything like I sort of learn or pick up there, I can just I always use it. You know, it's not one of those things like, oh, that would be good to do someday. It's like, oh, I can do that right now. You know, and so yeah, definitely practical. Nurturing, I would say. Also, just because of that same thing that Helen was saying, like it's just so supportive. Like you know, we don't just show up and be like, oh, I did this amazing thing. We do that too, which is great. But it's not a highlights reel, which is what I like. You know, it's like, okay, guys, I had a really shitty day, or I'm dealing with this client and I'm having a lot of problems. And it's just, and like, oh my God, I remember once I went with like, I was in full crisis mode and I can't even remember what it was about now. But I was like trying to explain it to my husband and he just didn't get it because it's just so specific. I was like, I had to go talk to the group. Hang on. Yes. I think like 30 minutes, I was just like totally calm. And I was like, oh, okay. No, it's actually not a big deal. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
You know? Sometimes you just need to put put the feelings somewhere and just have people go, this is totally normal. I have this too. Just work through it and do not reply to the client.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was something like, I thought like I had fluffed some copy or something. I really can't remember, but it was just like to have that sort of, like Helen said, like the team sort of saying like, no, I mean, like, that sounds fine. Like, don't get worked up about that. And, it's people that like, and respect as well. It's not just like random people on the internet. So yeah, I would definitely say like nurturing, supportive, and practical. I also like Helen's word there.
Good words. I like this. I like this question. All right, B, what about you?
I just found that so funny because the month before I joined, I was like standing close to my husband all the time, like with just all these things I wanted to talk about, and I was like, he's going to find it so boring and he's not going to understand. And it's been that vent. But I was going to say open, supportive, and positive. I had a word like practical in there, but I thought it sounded boring, but it's true. But the openness and the supportiveness are so massive because, like you said, there are people at all different levels, and I'm on the kind of lower level of like being established as a business, and I'm talking to people who are like, charging great, like really high rates, have been established for years, and you see that everyone's facing the same challenges, or not the same challenges, but everyone's faces similar challenges. That imposter syndrome gets you at every level, that a lot of these issues with clients come up at different. And the other thing that's been helpful about how open everyone is it really helps me kind of make choices for my own business, because I can see how that's going, how this training has affected someone, where this person's ended up with something. And I've been on the fringes of other groups where it is very, people are either asking for something or showing off. And it's not there, there's plenty of space for people to talk about wins. But you said in, I think, the first post that after I joined, you said, one of the rules here is to be nice to each other.
Yes.
Be kind. And I thought, but I want to be pushed really hard and I want to be challenged. And I've got a bit of an internal, bully. And it's really good not to have that in the group. We don't need to be like that. It's not encouraging. And I find the group just so super encouraging.
Oh, that's so good. I love this vibe, because this is the reason I love hearing these words, is that's pretty much exactly what I wanted. And as I said, like, different vibes will suit different people. And it might be that you need a different community to get you where you want to go. But I know many of us have kids. We want life outside of work. We love what we do. We want to improve, but we also don't want to work all the time. And that kind of kindness and supportiveness is something I really strongly believe in, because it's if you're going to improve, it's kind of like, I don't like the language of tear downs, and things like that. I think if you're going to improve, you want to be lifted up and made to believe that you can do it by people who are supportive and encouraging. So cheerleading is a big pastime of mine and all the people in the group, which I love. So great words, ladies. Excellent. Now, is there anything else you wanted to add? And you can say, nope, I've said all the things, Belinda, and I'll let you go. Carry on with your Friday night. But if there's anything you want to add, jump in.
Well, I think for me, just what I said earlier, I just really do want to reiterate it, because, like I said, I was thinking like, oh, yes, templates, blah, blah. Oh, there's a Facebook group. Okay, I'll go to that. I don't even have like a Facebook account. I just have it for groups. Like it's, and I was like, okay, and now I spend way more time in the Facebook group than in the resources. It really is. You come for the resources, you come for the stuff, and you do stay for the community. And I'm part of like some pretty, quote unquote, important memberships, like big ass companies, multi-million-dollar companies. And honestly, like, it's not even a comparison. Like, what you've got going on and what they've got going on, I'm just like, really? Like, you guys, like, it's just, it really surprises me, where I'm like, the fact that, these kind of more, not flashy per se, but, big, well-known, established, like I said, multi-million-dollar kind of companies with their fancy, seemingly fancy groups, the community element just sucks. And it's really like, there is no comparison, honestly.
I love it. And, that's why I like the small and cozy feel. Even as the group grows, we know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, I love finding things that people are celebrating. And I'm like, oh, look, Kerry did this, and sharing in the group, because I'm like stalking everyone. But I love that too. Did anyone else want to add anything before I let you get on with your Friday night?
I think for me, I don't even need to say anything. The fact I've been in the group for 2 years just kind of sums it up, really.
Yeah.
I haven't even really thought about ever leaving the group, because it's just part of my team now. It's like, I know I'm never allowed to leave. That's fine. But also, Iman, I know she's left. I think she's moved on now. But, I actually got to meet her, and I went to Manchester before lockdown. And that's how comfortable the group is. That you're contacting people. So sorry, you stuck with me. And
still in touch with people. I have this idea of graduating from Confident Copywriting, which makes me really happy, and I'm still in touch with everyone who's left, which is not that many people. B, did you want to add anything before we wrap up?
I was just going to say a similar thing about joining for the resources. And I forget about the resources now. It's only been 2 months in. I ask a question and people are like, "Oh, there's a resource. Like you could."
I worked so hard creating these things for you, and you don't.
I mean, I use them every day as well. The proposal template, discovery call, emails. I use them every day. I mean, it's just I don't want to go into detail on my other wins, but I've got work through the group, through people posting job leads. I feel like I'm making friends with people. It's I've got loads of Instagram followers from the group. It's just so many fringe benefits.
Awesome. I love that. Well, I want to thank you, ladies, for joining me today on a Friday night. I really appreciate it. If I ever ask you back, I'll pay attention to that kind of time zone checking. So I'm going to let you go, get all the kids to bed, enjoy your weekend. And of course, I will see you in the group next week. So I'll boot you off. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you again. Bye-bye. All right. Well, I wanted to wrap up. Hang on. You girls can, leave whenever you want. Girls, lovely. Women. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the group, and I see a question, so I'm going to answer that. So Confident Copywriting is my private coaching group for aspiring and working copywriters. It's open on May the 6th through till May the 11th. And the journey of a confident copywriter is something that we work through in the group. So when you start your journey as a copywriter, you're an aspiring copywriter, and we have a ton of resources that help you establish your business as a legit thing and get started, find clients, establish a digital footprint. And then you move on to be a working copywriter. And this is when you're starting to regularly get paid, but it's not necessarily always clients that you want, and you're still kind of making stuff up as you go along. So we have a lot of documents, processes, resources, systems to help you solidify what you've got in place and make it a little more streamlined. And then you move to become a growing copywriter. And this is often when copywriters talk about being so busy, which is awesome. But this is when those systems and processes kind of start to break a little bit. So there's a lot of help and support for that further systemization of your business. And this is where copywriters can dial into who they really want to work with, and are they offering the products and services that will get them there. And the last stage in the Confident Copywriting roadmap, I should have had a graphic all ready to go for this, but that's when you're a scaling copywriter. And of course, you need different products and services and different clients if you want to start hitting revenue goals like 10K a month, right? So aspiring, working, growing, scaling. That is the journey of a confident copywriter. And every month there are lots of different resources around. We have 5 pillars: writing, marketing, systems, admin, and money, because we got to talk about the money stuff. And that comes out each month. There's one resource every week. We have a group coaching call at the end of the month. And there's another way that you can actually experience the journey of confident copywriting. And that's with this CC implementer tier. And that is for people who never seem to have the time to work on your business. So every month there's all the goodness of confident copywriting, but we have every 2 weeks, we have a co-working zone. Every quarter we have quarterly planning. Every month you declare your goals and there are accountability check-ins from me to see how you're tracking on. So it's all about the CC implementer is all about setting your intention, having the workspace to actually do the work, and support and accountability as well. So there's the Confident Copywriting membership, and there's also the CC implementer. So 2 ways that you could really accelerate the growth of your business, because this kind of group, it's about getting a shortcut, a really, really smart shortcut. So you don't have to go through the years of low rate, shitty clients. And I love that Kerry was just like, yeah, no, thanks. I'm going to jump up to earning a decent living. And that's the kind of support and shortcut the right group can offer you. So, I don't know who this is. Let me have a look. I've just got Facebook user. Let me see if I can find who it is, but I'm going to answer the question. How many people can join the group? Here we go. How many people can join the group? If I can't attend live sessions due to time zones, would I miss out on a lot of value? All right, great question. Everything's recorded, right? But what I actually try and do is, so I was just talking to some members who are in European, Central European, British Standard Summertime. Anyway, that side of the world, time zone. Then there's also a lot of members who are in the US and a lot of members who are in Australia. So when I'm planning events, I'm looking at Pacific time, Eastern time, British European time, and Australian time. And I'm trying to come up with session times that aren't too late in the UK, that aren't too early in Australia, and that work for me in the middle, because as I said, I've got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I'm working around my family as well. But everything's recorded. And so that if you can't make a particular session, you just grab the recording and do the work in your own time. And with a private Facebook group, you can say, oh, I finally caught up on that authority podcast pitching resource. This is where I'm stuck. And you have that kind of support on tap 24/7 all month, because everyone's from different time zones. There's always someone available. And of course, you have me as well. And so you don't miss out on a lot of the value. And I would also add that not every week is a live session. So we have a live group coaching call once a month that you can ask questions of me beforehand and after as well. You get coaching all month long. But some of the resources are events, as in, we've got a guest expert coming in to talk about something amazing, and that's a live session that's also recorded. But there's also, I'm just releasing a resource, which is a guide, a template, a process, a writing tip, a tool. So we do a lot of writing training as well as business building advice. So some of the stuff is just text, a video, a PDF, you download it, and you're away. Some of it is live interviews with experts in the biz, and some of it's fireside chats. Like last week, was it last week? Yes, one of the members was like, how do you get so much done, right? Because you seem to be hyper productive, and I know you've got 2 young kids, so how does that all work? So we just did a Facebook Live where everyone jumped on, and I talked about how I organize my day. Now, I'm probably going to turn that into something more structured, but it was a chance for people to ask me questions without it being a big formal environment, right? And that's really reflects the vibe of the group. It's very chilled, like Bea and Helen and Carrie all mentioned, being able to have conversations that you might not feel you can have anywhere else. And I love that on all the video reviews that are on the registration page have language like safe space, non-judgmental. I can ask questions without being torn down or made to feel stupid. And we also have conversations about products and courses and things like that in the market, where we have a big long one recently, and a lot of people were saying, it's so nice to be able to speak about this openly without feeling like Belinda's going to tell on us or get offended. And that's really reflects the space, is you can get help, get support, have the loudest group of cheerleaders, me at the front cheering you on, But remember, we celebrate the small wins and the big wins as well. Question here, is the coaching program a rolling program or for a set period? So this is a rolling program. So this is a coaching membership, and every month there's a resource every week with a group coaching call at the end of the month. You can join. I have an annual option, so you can get 12 months for the price of 11, or you can just sign up monthly and have the flexibility to cancel anytime. And so some months I have a theme where on the last coaching call, I said to everyone, right, here's what we're doing in May. You know, it's the launch, but we're running a rate tracking, they're going through the rate spreadsheet again with new members. June's going to be all about emails. I'm going to be talking about how to write welcome sequences, how to write re-engagement sequences. Iman Ismail's coming in, and we're going to have a little session on mapping out sequences. July is going to be about scaling products, services, bundles. August, I think, is going to be about hiring a VA and building a team. So what I can do is I can say, look, here are some themes that are coming up. But what I also do is, if there's a challenge going on in the group, for example, when lockdown happened, COVID hit, everyone was like, what the are we supposed to do? So we had a whole month of just weekly hot seats to help people through the challenges they were having. So I'm very responsive to what the group's talking about and what everyone needs. And I'll often go, yeah, we were going to do that next month, but I'm actually going to bring it up. Or I'm going to push it down and I'm going to bring someone in so that we can talk about this. Or, you know, it's very flexible, but it is rolling. All right, let's have a look at this. Is there guidance on how to know when to niche into a sector? I'm a new copywriter and just taking any work that comes. So don't panic about niching. I feel like this is, niching is a great idea because you can position yourself as a specialist, you can narrow the focus of who you talk to, and you can very quickly give clients a sense of like, this is who you are, this is who you write for, this is the kind of copy that you write. Niching is good, but if you don't have a niche, don't panic. And I actually think that unless you have experience, like you're saying, oh, I was actually a pharmacist and now I'm a copywriter, so I have this industry insider knowledge that serves my niche. Unless you have something like that, I think being a generalist for a little while can really serve you. Yes, it makes your marketing a little more difficult, but you can get a bit of experience, get a feel for what you like to write, get a feel for who you like to work with. So don't panic. But if it's something, we've had one member, Kirsten, who's not just in Confident Copywriting, but she's some other programs, but she's been working on her niche. She hasn't found something that fits. And she had some ideas from some training she was going through, and she brought them to the group and going, here are some dots, and I don't know how to put them together. And the hive mind were like, what about this, this, and this? And she was like, that is it. So basically, if you want help with it, the help is there. There is an instant traction course when you join, which is all about working out your USP, your minimum hourly rate, and writing yourself a bio and setting a big, hairy, audacious goal. So that's something you can do, and we encourage everyone to check in with that. But you have the support if that's what you want to do. How do I make this work? That's what you can get from the group. Support, coaching, resources to do the things you want, and some help to set the goals if you're not quite sure where you want to go as well. So I hope that helps. But just don't panic about not having a niche yet. It will come. It will come. All right, so I'm just going to pop into the group to see if there's any more questions. I say that confidently, trying to get the tech to work. No, I can't see. I can just see Facebook user. So if you have any questions, pop them in, and I'll just recap quickly on what the group's about. Confident Copywriting is my private coaching group for aspiring and working copywriters who want to have successful businesses. Aster is one of the big things of the group is, yes, you will get the resources, support, and coaching to reach specific income goals. But my big thing is create a business that you love working in. And that means not working all the time. That means being able to earn money around your kids. It means being able to earn money while you travel, when we can travel again. But this is a group that's all about, yes, build the business in terms of the revenue, but you also need it to deliver more fun, more family, more recreation, more free time. That is a huge part of your business development, and we talk about it a lot. But when will you share group content and payment details? Okay, well, payment details, it's $47 a month. Okay, so I think this is what you're asking. $47 a month, that's US dollars. You can sign up for an annual option, which gives you 12 months for the price of 11. I can never quite work that out. But there's also the CC implementer, which is $147 a month. And that is the one with the goal setting, the quarterly planning, the co-working zones every fortnight, and accountability and extra support from me. So $47, $147. And one of the things that came up in a recent conversation about that is like, that's less than I would charge a client for one website page, right? So that's how you can think about it. It's like, if you really want to do that, you really want to make some progress, you got to figure out how you can on-charge that to your clients. All right, so the group opens on May the 6th and it closes on May the 11th. I should have had a banner with all these kind of dates and details. I'm not quite that organized. It's Friday. And you will, if you go to copywritematters.com, you will go to the Learn link and you'll see some resources under Copywriter. But basically, if you stay on the Copyright Matters Facebook page in the For the Love of Copywriting group, you will see some links and details. Hang on, let me just see if I can do this on the fly. May 6 to 11. Can I do that? Add banner? Right. Doesn't that change your life, seeing that? Okay, maybe not. All right. So the group is open May 6th to 11th. I'm going to drop in the comments a link to my Path to Profit webinar, which is next week. And basically, I'm going to tell you how to have a 2K month, a 5K month, and a 10K month as a copywriter, because like that Confident Copywriting roadmap, you need different marketing. You need different clients, you need different products, and you need different mindset approaches. And so that's what I'm going to be going through on this free webinar, and that will kick off Confident Copywriting being open. But if you have questions, send me a DM, send me an email, let me know. I'm more than happy to have a chat about this, because it's not going to be the right group for everyone, and I want it to be the right group for you. So if you're not quite sure if it's the right group, I'm going to be talking to 3 more members on Monday, 3 more members on Tuesday, but my inbox and my DMs are always open to talk about this. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you to Helen, B, and Kerry. I'm going to be dropping their website links and things like that. I hope you all have an amazing weekend.